it does very much feel like they were very aware of what this product should be and who is buying it, and they just built that. Hey, welcome to Downshift. My name is Matt. This thing's name is the new Toyota Grand Highlander. And it's a big deal because this is Toyota's answer to a growing and literally growing family 3-row SUV segment. So what we're gonna do today is take a tour and show you everything that you need to know about this new Grand Highlander. Let's get into it. So the first thing we'll address is, what is a Grand Highlander? There's already a Highlander, so is this just a bigger one of those? Well, one look at it and you can kind of tell, not really. It's got totally different styling and a completely new interior and tech. But why does this exist? Who asked for this? Well, Toyota brought this Grand Highlander as a response to the Korean twins. The Palisade and the Telluride came in and they were bigger and they had more stuff than the Highlander and the Pilot. Now, both of those Koreans have just been refreshed, and Honda's Pilot has now also been completely, quote, new generationed, and it's also been stretched several inches to compete. So this is how Toyota is getting back on top. And it's a big deal, and I do mean big. This thing is 6.5 inches longer than a normal Highlander. And that translates to places like your second row, mostly your third row, and your trunk. Now, as you can see, it is a powered kick-to-open tailgate. You'll love to see it. And it's huge. With the third row up, it's just under 21 cubic feet. And even though it's a hybrid, the battery pack doesn't kill trunk space. Sequoia. Now, the third row doesn't power fold like you do get in the Palisade. You do have to pull this, and then, once it's ratcheted past its last position, it'll fold out of the way. It doesn't, of course, power up or down like you would get in the Palisade, but that's the only one that offers that, so I think that's fine. Maybe the CX-90 also offers it, but personally, I don't really think that I need it. But with the third row down, you have like 58 cubic feet of space, and that is more than either the Palisade or the Telluride. This is a huge space, look at this. And all 350,000 of you will remember how I talked about this in the RAV4. You do have a push to close and push to lock, but that's not necessarily the most interesting thing. Look at this. Grand Highlander, spelled out, very Lexus-like, very nice, but it's body colored. Now usually it's chrome or black or something like that, but body colored. It's very subtle. It's very old luxury, old money. Now, like I said, this is a hybrid. Now usually all Toyota hybrids will get blue accenting in your front logo, but you don't have it here, and you don't have it here like you normally would. The only place that you'll get blue is on the outline, the rim of Max, not even on hybrid, but just Max. And then this is like a cool ocean pearl gradiented effect, but that's the only place. Toyota's like, yeah, it's a hybrid, it's passé, we're the only ones doing it, but we're not gonna be showy about it. Now I think it's time to check out the third row. Pretty easy, pull on this, skirts out of the way. It would kind of crush a baby seat, but you know, whatever. You've got this huge step here that you can step in here, and into the third row we go. Now, this is cool, because this is where the Highlander kind of really suffered. Now, I'm 6'1". This is, well, I'll show you when we get into the second row, but I have plenty of knee room in the second row, and I even have about 2 inches of space here. Again, 6'1". This adds 5.5 inches of leg room versus the normal Highlander. This is why you get the Grand Highlander. You have so much more space back here, almost half a foot. Plus, you have like almost triple beverage holders. This is not really gonna hold a beverage, but you've got like 3 different cup holders. You've got USB-C, you've got this weird handle thing. You've got air vents back here. Look at my headroom. Look at that, look at that. Pretty nice. So this is a pretty great space. The only place I'll ding it is the fact that it's all black with none of the cool like gold accenting that you get in the rest of the cabin. And then there's the engine, which is a big deal because this is Toyota's new Hybrid Max engine here, which means it's a 2.4 liter turbocharged engine, 4-cylinder of course, with the hybrid system. You don't get a hybrid, I will reiterate, you don't get a hybrid in the Palisade or the Telluride or the Pilot, and here you do. You get 265 horsepower as well, and 310 pound-feet of torque, so this thing has plenty of punch. Weird thing though, is it doesn't say hybrid again, and you can hardly tell. Usually it's the orange cables that give it away. It's like so hidden, like they're trying to hide the fact that it's a hybrid, it just says turbo on there. But you also get this heat shielding, like shelf that comes over, I don't know, small things, but I noticed it. And then of course you get an 8-speed automatic. You've got all-wheel drive with dynamic torque control. This thing actually drives really well. We'll talk about it later. You get about 26, I've been getting 26 mpg just over in combined driving this week. That's what they say you're gonna get on the highway, but I've been getting it in combined driving. 0 to 60 is about 7.5 seconds, so it's proper quick. And you can get the 2.5 non-turbo with the hybrid for less power, but you'll get 30 mpg combined. I mean, that's amazing in something this size. And of course, there's also a base engine, which is just this 2.4 turbo, which of course doesn't come with a hybrid. And then towing, this one doesn't have a hitch installed, but with the hybrid max powertrain, this thing will top out at 5,000 pounds of towing. And that's really good. I mean, this is a 4-cylinder with a hybrid and a turbo, towing the same as the Palisade, 5,000 pounds, and the Telluride. Now, the Telluride can tow up to 5,500 pounds with the transmission cooler and the X Pro whatever, but this is great. And another interesting fact, this is the same towing capacity that you'll get in the 4Runner with its old bulletproof big V6 and its body-on-frame truck chassis. We talked third row, but let's talk second row. We're gonna start on the door card actually, because this tab is important. You've got baby shades, window shades, whatever you wanna call it. We've got the same texture that we see everywhere. That's not really gonna fit anything, and of course they want you to know that. But you do get this, it comes with a hair tie, at least if you get the press car. And then you've got this really nice seat. Alcantara, gold accent. I'm gonna step in here. Again, I'm 6'1", this is kind of, well, I was sitting behind this one, so for consistency's sake, look at this. I've got like a fist worth of knee room in front of me, and even in the third row, I still had like 2 inches. So this is great. You get heated seats in this one. This is a limited. If you go up to the Platinum, you get heated and cooled seats back here, which is what you get in the Mazda CX-90 as well as the Palisade. You've got USB-Cs, you've got climate zones and vents back here, you've got chargers, and one of my favorite things is this right here. Now let me grab my bottle. Ready? Favorite feature. I test 100 cars a year. This is like the 4th car that has ever fit this bottle, and this is the first car ever that's fitted in the back row. That's awesome. You'll love to see it. Still has the gold accents, still has the texture, and I can remove it. I can get it out of here, or I can put it back. This is awesome. Forgot to mention, Toyota included an extra inch of knee room for your second row, so it's not just the 5.5 inches that you get back here, but you also get an inch here. These seats will also slide and recline, which I'm fumbling for now, but they do, I promise. But now I want to talk about this gold because it's everywhere. It's on your shifter, in your center console, even on these little fangs here, in your drive mode selector, all the way rimming up here in your power button, USB-C, vents, and even in your seats, in the stitching, in the Alcantara. I mean, this is awesome. This is really high-end stuff. You could say it's very grand, just like these brushed aluminum or brushed nickel kick plates. Very, very grand. The only place that it's not grand, again, we talked about this, you don't get it in the third row. Kind of like, well, kind of exactly like the Audi SQ7 that we tested the other month. But it's not just gold. There's this funky texture that you get here on your door cards, here in your dash, even in, it's hard to see, come on camera, you can kind of see it. It's like legitimate, like you can feel it. It's textured rubber, very, very cool. You go into here, the back of that, that's textured. In here, textured. Shapa, textured. Even this isn't a wireless charger. They didn't have to do this, but they did it. Very cool, you love to see it. Again, down there, this looks like it should move, by the way. Doesn't, or at least I'm not gonna break it. It doesn't stop. In the back, in the door, in the removable center thing. Everywhere, texture everywhere. And I did want to revisit this real quick. It does look like it moves. It might. This is a pre-production car, so it might in the final production, but even if it doesn't, I don't care because I can still fit my big ass bottle here in the front, even with the little rubber boot down here. But what if you want to store something that isn't liquid? Well, again, we've got this area here with a thoughtful little USB-C there. So you got cubby here, secret compartment here, only for passengers, not for the driver. I love that this is a slide and not a flip. Why? I don't know, I just do. Very, very deep. You'll love to see it. The door bins are huge, even storage here, and of course, secret storage here. And it wouldn't be a Downshift video without talking about the panel roof, which is huge. And then there's the technology. Now this is Toyota's updated system. We've seen it in basically everything since the Tundra came out like a year or 2 ago. And it's great. You've got wireless Apple CarPlay, you've got wireless Android Auto, you've got dual Bluetooth connection. It's great graphics, super responsive, love it. You get awesome 360 cameras. You can change the color of your vehicle. I don't know why I picked blue when it's red, but I just like that. I like that you can do that. But there's something else that I like about the rear view. And it's when we go into reverse and we turn the wheel, see how the car goes away, it vanishes. But look, it's filling in. It's remembering what's under me. That's cool. The only thing that's not cool is it turns off when I go into drive. Another thing that's not super cool, that you still get the egg view. But again, custom color, I guess, makes it worth it. It's a useless feature. Useless. What is this for? Who is this helping? But you know what is helping? Super nice, full digital cluster. Look at that. Look at that fuel economy. That's great. That's fantastic. Only bummer, no head-up display until you get to the Platinum trim. And then this bit here, this is of course your driver assistance suite. Now this is Toyota Safety Sense 3.0 standard across all trims. That's fantastic. This is the first to include also a driver monitor. We've not had that in the past. It's very, very good. It won't change lanes for you. It's not gonna like totally be hands-free. You do have to keep your hand on it, but it's very good even through all the construction that I've had around my house. But there's also some luxuries. Got heated seat, 3-level, cooled seat, 3-level, heated steering wheel. I mean, that's great. You love to see that. Plus these seats are fantastic. The bolstering is great, the leather, the Alcantara, very, very nice. And then just really briefly on the ergonomics of things. New steering wheel, fantastic. Love the gold accents. These buttons are exactly where I want them to be for my media. We still have physical climate controls. My wife loves that. But then we're gonna talk about hybrid things. We're going back to the digital cluster. Look, great fuel economy, you love to see it. It'll also indicate if you're in EV mode. There is not a designated EV mode button like we've had in some of the past ones, but you also have this EV driving ratio. So of the last journey that you've done, what % have you been in EV mode? The weird thing is it doesn't calculate it by mileage. It'll calculate it by time. So the total time, what % of the time. So if you're just sitting here idling, you're gonna get a falsely high reading. But then we'll go over here to the center screen. Energy flow, which is a very simple graphic, but kind of cool to know whether you're generating power or deploying power. And the weird thing is, watch this here. I just put my foot on the brakes. I've never seen that before, where it notifies you when you're on the brakes. But then we're gonna shift over here and talk about drive modes. Now you've got a bunch of normal ones, like normal, you push in here. Eco, sport, they all have different graphics as well, so that's great. So those are all normal, those all make sense to me. You also have a snow mode. Great, that doesn't have a graphic, it just green says snow. You also have downhill assist control, but you have 2 different and dedicated off-road modes. You've got one for mud and sand, which doesn't get a graphic, and then you got another one for rock and dirt. I imagine this one gives you less traction intervention than this one, but it does kind of feel like 2 off-road modes is maybe overkill for something like this. Then I want to talk about the looks because I think it's handsome and I think it's important. This is a very conventional SUV shape to it. It has a very Lexus grille down here, which interestingly, by the way, is like a dark gray versus here, which is black. So you're never gonna be able to unsee that now. You got this kind of chrome front splitter, which matches your Salvador Dali chrome mustache that you have here. I don't know, I kind of like it, it's some fun. Got sharp LED running lights, very nice. We've got big 20-inch wheels. We've got keyless entry for front and rear, and a very conventional SUV profile, max headroom back there, which we were enjoying earlier. And around the back, it's a very simple design. We talked about the fact that the Grand Highlander is body colored, but we also should talk about the fact that you have the crab grab taillights. Why do so many manufacturers do the crab grab taillights? And last but not least, we're going to talk about price. Now, if you want a hybrid Grand Highlander, which we have here, starts at $45,000. It starts at $43,000 for the non-hybrid, so personally, you might as well go for the hybrid if you're going to ask me. Now, this has the limited kit on it, and it has the hybrid max powertrain, so as tested, we're looking at about $58,000. So it gets to be a good bit of money, but I think it might be worth it. So that's enough talk. Let's grab the key and go for a drive. Grand Highlander Hybrid Max. We're in sport mode, and we're gonna pin it. Look at traction go. I mean, this thing is not slow. It's not. 0 to 60, like 7.5 seconds, 265 horsepower, 310 pound-feet of torque, but it's the fuel economy. It's been getting 26 mpg this week. You know, if you wanted the non-turbo version, just the normal hybrid, then you get like 30. It's fantastic. You know, you're not getting that from anything else. You're not getting that in a Palisade, a Telluride, a Pilot, you know, none of that stuff, a Traverse, you know, whatever. That's what you get here, and this is I think where it's most at home in eco mode, because it is just soft. It's like the suspension is cushy and floaty, and it soaks things up, and the cabin is so quiet and refined. The steering has a bit more heft and feedback than I was expecting, which is a welcome thing because it still feels pretty good. It's not going to tell you anything, but you're not driving this thing like hard or on a track or in a back road or whatever, but it feels good. Everything makes sense. Everything feels really sussed out and well calibrated and well put together. It does very much feel like they were very aware of what this product should be and who is buying it, and they just built that. You know, the Honda, the Pilot has a better driving experience. It's more dynamic, but it's a 3-row family SUV. Like who cares? You know, this has the same, you know, big expansive interior feel, if not more than like a Palisade. It's got, you know, the aggressive masculine, or not, maybe not masculine, but like macho classic SUV look of a Telluride. It's got great fuel efficiency. There are a couple weird things. The pedal box is like weirdly narrow. I think this side kind of comes in a little bit. I don't know what that's all about, but I am aware of it. The brake pedal is kind of firm, and also look at the cluster when I'm on brakes. I don't know why. This is like the first time I've noticed a car telling me when I'm braking in the cluster. But the cluster, or the brake pedal does feel firm, and you do get regen. It kind of feels like a race car. Race cars always have firm brake pedals. So it's like you're driving your F1 Grand Highlander hybrid. It's kind of nice. Turn in. It's a big SUV. It's heavy. You don't take turns hard. Just don't. You know, you'll get through it, but it's not going to be like fun or challenging. It's a very different driving philosophy than the Mazda CX-90 that we were just in. That thing was big for a Mazda. It was big, but it was much more Mazda in its driving philosophy. This is very much an appliance with a purpose. So there it is. Those are the 23 things you need to know about Toyota's new Grand Highlander. And honestly, this thing is exactly what it needed to be. It's huge, it's comfy, it's efficient, it's pretty handsome and stylish, even on the interior. I love the gold, by the way. And it's got great tech. I mean, it is a self-aware, well-executed product, and you love to see it. So thanks again to Jen and Team Toyota for letting us have a go in their great new Grand Highlander.